Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Daily Motion. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Wednesday, January 14th, 2015, around 8:17 p.m. in Belleville, Massachusetts, about 21 degrees. We got some small coatings of snow, but nothing significant. Some news to report. The Oakland Raiders have named Jack Del Rio their new head coach, and the San Francisco 49ers has named Jim Tomsula their new head coach, and St. Louis Blues goaltender Martin Brodeur has taken a leave of absence from the team to ponder his future. And that's about it on the news. And my third and final video blog subject of the night is about my personality profile. My personality profile tonight is about former Major League pitcher Roger Clemens. Roger Clemens pitched 24 seasons in the big leagues from 1984 through 2007. He was one of the best pitchers of all time, but he's been clouded with controversy for alleged steroid use. Roger Clemens was born in... His real name is William Roger Clemens, and he was born in Dayton, Ohio. And he grew up in Ohio, and he moved to Houston, Texas when he was a teenager. He played high school baseball, basketball, and football. And he was recruited in high school, but there were several scouts. The Philadelphia Phillies, Minnesota Twins were scouting him senior year, but he decided to not sign and go to junior college. He went to college for San Janko Community College, where he was pretty good, and he was actually drafted in the 12th round of the 1981 amateur draft for Major League Baseball by the New York Mets, but he bypassed that and went to the University of Texas, and he pitched for the University of Texas. He had an overall career record, 25-7. 2 times he was an All-American pitcher, and he was on the mound when the Texas Longhorns won the 1983 College World Series, and some of his teammates on Texas Longhorns baseball team in 1983 were future major leaguers Greg Swindell, Calvin Schiraldi, and Spike Owen. And Roger was drafted by the Boston Red Sox in the first round. He was the 19th overall pick in the 1983 amateur draft. He signed a contract with the Red Sox, and he only spent 1 year in the minor leagues. And in 1984, on May 15th, he was called up to pitch for the Red Sox. His first 2 years in the major leagues were, decent, but he missed significant time due to arm trouble. He had to shut it down in 1984 and 1985, but in 1986 he had an amazing year. He won his first 14 starts, and he finished with a record of 24-4. He was the starting pitcher in the 1986 All-Star team for the American League, and he led the Red Sox to World Series. He was named 1986 American League Most Valuable Player and Cy Young Award with his records. And then he had another Cy Young Award season in 1987, and he had some awesome years, solid years in 1988, 1989, 1990, and when he won 20 games. And in 1991, he had another solid season, which led him to a Cy Young Award winning for the third time. He won 3 Cy Youngs with the Red Sox, and then he led the league several times in strikeouts. He had a good ERA, but around 1992, Clemens started to falter a little bit because he had, for the Red Sox, he first had a losing record in 1992, and from 1993 to 1996, he was a 500 pitcher at best, and his contract with the Red Sox was coming up at the end of the 1996 season. He had a 20 strikeout game in 1986, most in the major leagues, and he duplicated that in 1996. But at the end of the 1996 season, the Red Sox did not offer Roger Clemens a contract, and the Red Sox general manager at the time, Dan Duquette, says Roger Clemens is in his twilight of his career. And he won 193 games for the Red Sox, tied for most ever by a Red Sox pitcher behind tied Cy Young. He signed a contract with the Toronto Blue Jays, and he had 2 solid years with the Blue Jays, which was winning the Cy Young both in 1997 and 1998, but the Toronto Blue Jays were not contenders. And before the 1999 season, Roger Clemens got traded to the New York Yankees, and then he won his 2 World Series championships with the Yankees in 1999 and 2001. He also added a Cy Young in 2001 for pitching with the Yankees. He was the first pitcher ever to win a Cy Young award without pitching a complete game for a starting pitcher in 2001. And then in 2003, Roger Clemens was going to retire. But he changed his mind and went to the National League. And in 2004, he signed a contract with the Houston Astros. He won a Cy Young with the Houston Astros in 2004. He was one of the only pitchers to win a Cy Young for both American League and National League. And he led the Houston Astros to the playoffs in 2004-2005. He pitched in his last World Series in 2005. And in 2007, he signed a contract for the Yankees again. And he last pitched in a Major League game on September 16th, 2007. His career stats: 11 times he played in the All-Star game. 7 times he was a Cy Young Award winner. He won twice the Triple Crown of pitching, which was wins, strikeouts, and ERA. He led the American League in wins 4 times. 7 times he was an ERA champion. 5 times he was American League strikeout king. He had 6 years of 20 wins in a season. 12 times he was 2,000 strikeouts in a season, and his career stats were 354, 184, 3.12 ERA, 4,672 strikeouts, 118 complete games, and 40 shutouts. All of these would have landed Roger Clemens as a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he was alleged to use steroids. Around 1998, his trainer, Brian McInerney, allegedly injected steroids into Roger Clemens. And this was going on for several years afterwards. And in December of 2007, Roger Clemens was in the Mitchell Report, which was conducted by former U.S. Senator George Mitchell about alleged steroid use and performance-enhancing drugs in baseball, and he had a big report, and Roger Clemens was on it. And then this got to the government, and there was a congressional hearing about Clemens and Brian McInerney, and then the hearing happened in February of 2008, and then eventually Roger Clemens got indicted in perjury, but he was cleared in 2012, but he has his legacy's tarnished because of all this steroids allegations and stuff and PED use. He was voted. He was on the Hall of Fame ballot in 2013 for the first time, but he only got about 35% of the votes by the baseball writers. He's hovered around that mark ever since, and he has 7 more tries to get into the Hall of Fame by the writers. And if he's at like 38%, it's going to take forever for him to get for it, and he doesn't have too much time. I think Roger Clemens is a Hall of Famer no matter what. Even if he retired in like 1998, he would have gone into the Hall of Fame pretty easily and stuff like that. But there's so many sports writers, baseball writers, who never vote any player into the Hall of Fame if they use PEDs or alleged use PEDs, and it's going to be very tough for Roger Clemens to get into the Hall of Fame. But I think the Red Sox should the Red Sox put him in the Hall of Fame, their Hall of Fame in 2014. They should even retire as number 21, Roger Clemens, because he was the best pitcher the Red Sox ever had, besides Cy Young. I hope they do it in 2015, extend that olive branch, and I hope he accepts it, and maybe they could make him a goodwill ambassador to the team. And that's about it on him. I'll be back tomorrow, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. 3 more video blogs. The first video blog of the day will be the review, my take on the 1991 WWE Royal Rumble. The second video blog of the day will be the new digital television network called Heroes and Icons. And the third and final video blog of the night will be about the late great NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle. And coming Friday to these video blogs will be the top 10 greatest Texas Rangers players of all time. Saturday will be the top 10 Texas Rangers pitchers of all time. And coming soon to these video blogs, there'll be definitely ones about the cutest blondes in the world. You know who I'm talking about. That's right. Julie Broughton, Local 6, Orlando, Florida, and Heidi Pratt, two of the nicest ladies with nice legs and great smiles. And that's about it. Good night, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. Bye now.